Okay, good morning everyone. Is everyone doing fine? That's great to hear. Are you ready to learn something new? But before we begin, I'll play some video and I want you to follow it. You guys ready? Okay, that's great.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho!
Let's clap our hands. Good job, guys. Once again, good morning everyone. We are the Group 5, your online teacher for today's session. We are going to discuss about new historicism and cultural materialism. At the end of this lesson video, student will be able to differentiate new historicism and cultural materialism, identifying their key features, major scholars, and applications in literary analysis. Appreciate the importance of viewing literature within its historical, social, and political context, developing a critical awareness of how texts can reveal marginalized voices and challenge dominant ideologies. But before we begin with our lesson for today, please do the following. Make sure that you are seated comfortably in a place where you will not be disturbed while watching this video. Prepare a pen and paper so you can take down notes. Prepare a glass of water near you so you can take a sip whenever you feel thirsty. And lastly, listen well to prepare yourself for a quiz this lesson.
New historicism and cultural materialism are recent types of literary theories. These theories look at stories, poems, and other texts by thinking about the times and world where they were made. They believe books and writing do not exist alone, but shows the ideas, beliefs, and events of society during their time. These theories says that writings are closely linked to history and culture. They tell, they tell us about politics, power, and social rules that affect people's lives. New historicism and cultural materialism says that books can help us understand how some groups in society may be ignored or treated unfairly. Stories can give these groups a voice to share their experiences. Also, these theories teach that we cannot think of literature as separated from real life. Instead, writing are parts of ongoing social struggles and historical moments. By studying texts this way, we can learn more about the world past, different views, and how ideas of power and culture shapes what people write and read. So what is New Historicism? New Historicism is a way to study literature by looking closely at the time when the work was written and the culture around it. It teaches that literature is not just words on a page, but is connected to the history, politics, and ideas of the period. It also believes literatures can influence history and the other way around. So they look at many types of materials together like letters, laws, or diary, not just book and poems. This approach is different because it does not separate history and literature. Instead, it sees both as linked, helping us to better understand the past and the ideas people had during that time. It also says that the critic or reader is affected by their own time and culture when they interpreted that text. So meaning can change depending on when and how we read it. This makes the study of literature flexible and always connected to the human experiences. This approach helps us learn not just about the stories, but about power, society, and culture that shape those stories and are shaped by them. It is like a conversation between a text, its history, and the reader's word, making literary study more alive and connected to real life. I hope you learned something from me about the historicism, the new historicism. I think that would be all for my part.
Good day, everyone, and today I will be discussing my part, which is the key features and method. So, first we have read literary and non literary text together. So, we compare the story to real documents from the time so we can understand the background better. So, next is study power relations, social norms, and ideologies. So we look at who had power in society and what rules or belief or influence the text. So next we have understand how texts reflect and influence history. So texts show what was happening in history, and sometimes they also affect how people see history. And last, we have meaning is shaped by time and context. So the meaning of a text depends on when and where it was written. Okay, next we have cultural materialism. So, cultural materialism looks at how economics, politics, and social class influence literature. It studies how texts support or challenge powerful groups in society. It also pays attention to marginalized voices and shows how struggles appear in the text. So that is cultural materialism. Okay, next we have cultural materialism. Key features and method. So first we have study text with social, political, and economic realities. So we analyze the story while looking at what was happening in society at that time. So second, analyze class, power, and ideology in the literature. So we check how money, power, and beliefs affect characters and events in the text. Third, we have identify resistance or marginalized voices. We look for characters or groups who are oppressed or who fight back. And last, we have critique dominant cultural and political norms. So we question the usual beliefs.
Good afternoon, everyone. New historicism and cultural materialism are similar because they both study literature together with history and society. They do not focus only on the author or the text itself. They use ideas from many areas like literature, history, and culture. Now, they both look at power, ideology, and social influence. The differences between the two is that New Historicism explains how text and history affect each other. Cultural materialism is more political and focuses on class, power, and marginalized voices. Now, for the key terms, they also use non-literary materials, study how history works like a text, and examine how texts show or challenge social power. Good day, everyone. Now let's proceed to the next slide, which is the example applications. New historian reading Shakespeare plays with historical records or political pamphlets. New historian focuses on reading literature alongside historical documents and records. Example, reading a Shakespeare play not just for the plot but also by examining letters or political pamphlets from the same time period. Cultural materialism, analyzing novels, poems in relation to social, economic, or political conditions. Cultural materialism focuses on how social, economic, or political forces are related in the text. Example, analyzing a novel to reveal the power struggles, class differences, or dominance beliefs of. And for the next slide, we have here the importance. Help students see beyond the plot to understand context. Encourages critical thinking about power, ideology, and social structures. Shows marginalized voices and hidden meanings. Connects literature to real life, history, and society. The main benefit of using these methods is that they enrich our understanding of the context. They help us see the context. We look beyond the simple plot to understand the power, politics, and social structure of the time. Encourage critical thinking. They make us question why a text was written and who it was written for. Connect literature to life. They show that books are not isolated objects. Now let's proceed to the last slide, which is the criticisms. New historicism may be underemphasized literary form and style. Cultural materialism may be politically biased. Both rely on historical interpretation, which can be incomplete or selective. While powerful, these approaches have drawbacks. Focusing too much on history, they can sometimes underemphasize the literary elements like the form, style, or beautiful language of the text.
bias in interpretation. Both rely on interpreting historical information, which can sometimes be incomplete, selective, or politically biased.
Okay, now it's time for our quiz. We will send a Google form link in our GC, and I want you guys to open it and answer the following questions. Hopefully, you'll ace that quiz. I think that's all our lesson for today. I hope you learned something new.